On today's show, Angie is asked to get in touch with her soul through writing, but she determines it's a bad idea. Lilly is asked to get in touch with her feminine side as it is required for her to take off. Stay tuned to find out how these messages were encoded in symbolic form in their dreams. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast, the show about life transformation through dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan. This is another half hour of us eavesdropping on the very personal communication between the spirit world and you on your journey. If you want to know what you're meant to be doing right now in your life at this very moment, then look no further than your dreams. Through analysing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you the superpowers you have, what makes you magnificent, what makes you shine, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. Now, I have an admission to make. If you've sent a dream since around May 11th, I probably didn't get it because there's been a problem on my website. And so I have been looking at that today, trying to figure out what it is. The dreams aren't getting to me. I submitted some dreams myself and they're not getting to me. So I have put up on the site an email address, which is simply this: radioshow@dream-analysis.com. So if you want to send me your dream, send it to radioshow@dream-analysis.com. And the site may not be fixed just yet, so realize that. Radioshow@dream-analysis.com. No space between the words. And huge apologies. So if you have a dream and you've sent it any time in the last couple of months, or is it a couple of months, nearly a month and a half, send it again and I will have a look at it. So let's see. We've got a few dreams from Angie. And I teased at the start of the show that she's been asked to get in touch with her soul through writing, but she determines it's a bad idea. It's not really encoded in a hard way in this dream. So let's have a look at it. She calls this dream avoiding soul. And soul is a person's name in this dream. She says, my dream had Sarah and Soul, he's African American, in it, who I suspect have dated. They both write poetry. Soul is a wordsmith. Sarah is personal and shockingly open. In my dream, he had been abusive on top of his seductive, gifted with words self. He's a writer in reality. In the dream, I was maybe to start dating him. Sarah was in a new relationship like she is in reality. I knew Soul liked me, but because I reminded him of Sarah. At one point, I looked in a mirror and I had been wearing a tan hat for fashion, but it wasn't really my look. My hair was shorter and framed my face differently and had curls with it. Or curls with lift is what she says. I thought I looked a little like Sarah. I didn't want to get sucked into an abusive relationship. At one point, she was around her dad. Okay. Now, there's a little bit more in this dream, but let's have a look at the first part. So Sarah and Saul, they're both writers. Sarah puts her writing on Facebook. Like Angie said, she's shockingly open. Now, this is really about Angie, and none of this is about Sarah or Saul. So it's like, if Sarah has the courage to put her writing on Facebook, that's what Angie needs to do. Even if it's not her style. I think she says in here it's not her style, but at least when I was talking to her, that wasn't her style of writing. She doesn't write about the same things, but that's okay. What we do in our dreams and in reality, even subconsciously, is we critique ourselves and find reasons to not do something. So we call that out explicitly in a dream. And so here we see Angie explicitly looking at what Sarah's doing and saying, that's not my style. Even in the dream, she says she doesn't want to be like Sarah, not directly, but she's saying that looking in the mirror, she looks like Sarah and she knows that's why Soul wants to be with her. But if you look at Sarah as she's a writer and she's open and she's honest with her writing, that's what it's about. And any comment on Sarah is a comment about that gift. Now, Soul is also a writer. And Saul, actually, Angie was telling me, has served a life sentence in prison. I don't even know what a life sentence is in America. I know it's different everywhere. It's 21 years in a lot of places. But writing is what saved him in prison. And he, rather than going into the darker and darker space in prison, he vowed to stay connected to the outside world through writing. And that's what he did. And now that he's out, he does a tour and talks about this aspect of him and how it saved him. Now, this is all secondhand for me. This is what I'm told. But this is what Angie's been asked to do. Get in touch with her soul through writing because it's going to save her. Does she need saving? We all need saving. We all have something that we need to discover about ourselves and learn. And through learning that, we're going to empower ourselves. And really the point is to understand who we really are. Because we don't know who we really are. We think we do, but we're wrong. Most of the time we're wrong. And so here in this dream, she says that maybe I was meant to start dating, and she felt drawn to dating him, but decided not to because he was abusive. Now, we don't know anything about that in reality. That's just in the dream. But the dreamer has a huge issue with being in relationships that became abusive. It's happened to her many times in the past. And this is her fear, that if she was to put herself openly in writing, it would be used against her because she is used to men bringing things up and hitting her with them. I don't mean physically. So if she reveals her true feelings or reveals herself, let's say, that is just going to be used against her. And that's her big fear. And that's what she needs to overcome. Dreams always ask us to face our fears. Life is about us facing our fears, not in any stupid way. I mean, this is simply write. Write what you want to write. Write about what you want to write, the way you want to write it, and put that out there. Be open and honest with that. Now, if doesn't matter what excuse you find to not do that, the excuse is only an excuse. It is not a reason to not do it. And you're going to have to overcome things, obviously, to get to that point. But that is the point. So I love it. I really like the dream. There's another part where she says, I remember doing a water landing in what almost felt like a space capsule. I was with Sarah and I knew crews would be down below to pick us up. I had tied myself to a swing and had to undo it before landing, but felt it was safest and also that I would need to retie it. But that part isn't clear anymore. The dream's gone fuzzy. She says, I was already dressed and I didn't want to get my clothes wet. My aunt was also part of the pickup people. It's okay. We don't know any. And you said there was people eating fast food. So we don't know anything about the aunt. I forgot to ask her about the aunt. But we do see at one point Sarah's dad is in the other dream. So dad is a key player in Angie's life. And that's what she has to overcome. Issues with dad that cause her to end up in abusive relationships and so on. Now, she knows a lot of this, so I'm just glossing over it to say it. But the next part then, landing in water, it's like you came here with a spiritual purpose. Your life has a spiritual purpose. Most people don't land on water in their dreams. They land in an airplane, landing on the land, and so on. So this is like directly saying you're here for a spiritual purpose. And coming from space, is coming from the heavens. This is you, your movement, your birth onto the planet. And Sarah's with you. And if Sarah, what you know about Sarah is she's a writer and she's able to be open and honest, then that's what you are. That's what you came here to do. There's crews around to help pick you up. That's really, really good. But then we see you tied yourself to a swing and you were meant to undo it before landing, but you didn't. So this is like you're tied up. You need to untie yourself. You need to, and you're tied up because you say, this is safer and I don't want to get wet. So this is your excuse again for not getting into the spiritual work that you came here to do. It's not like, oh, wouldn't this be nice to do? You came here to do it, so do it. It'll make a lot of sense. It'll make a lot more sense when you start doing it. I think we've covered enough of that dream. But thank you, Angie, for sending it in. But here's another one from the same dreamer. She says, this one's called Alec with the Cold Woman. I remember standing and looking at a smallish round cafe table that Alec Baldwin was sitting at with two other women. One was Asian and she was complaining about feeling cold. I looked at her and she had an evening dress on and it was black with no sleeves. Alec wasn't cold because he was wearing a suit jacket. I wasn't really cold because I felt an extra layer around my waist as if I had on a vest. Alec made some kind of joke in which he offered her his jacket, and I thought that would be kind and helpful because she had the least amount of clothes on. Everyone's clothes were black. Okay, so obviously Alec Baldwin, if you listen to the show, you're going to know, is about channeling. He's an actor. Actors are told what to say to other people. They're told the lines to say. So they're a brilliant symbol for channeling in dreams. And she's looking at this smallish round cafe style table. So this is something she's meant to do in public. And it's kind of intimate with it being a small table. You know, you're in the, definitely in the personal space of the people that are with you at that table. And so her channeling is meant to be intimate. And one is Asian, one was complaining about, and she was complaining about feeling cold. So it's not about the dreamer being cold. Well, it's that. But it's more about this woman is wearing a sleeveless dress. That's really good in a dream. That says she has nothing up her sleeves. So in other words, nothing hidden. That's the expression. This person, don't trust them. They've something up their sleeves there. So the dream is saying, like, to be pretty much like the last one, to be exposed. Don't hide anything about yourself. But she's not happy with that. She's complaining about that because she feels exposed. Now, she says cold in the dream. And Alec Baldwin jokes about giving her a jacket. And now, that's a joke between them. But the dreamer, Angie, is looking on and says, that would be good because she's the most exposed. Again, not her words. She says she had the least amount of clothes on. But that's good in a dream. Even being totally naked is really good in a dream. That's about being yourself, not being afraid to be yourself and let people see who you really are without any attitudes, because clothes represent attitudes. Okay, so that's it. The black is prominent in the dream. So black is about fears around doing this, fears about being exposed. And so it's like my fears, basically the dream is saying my fears are what make me want to cover up and hide who I really am. And of course, in the dream, it's done differently. It's like, yeah, the room is cold, etc., etc. But she's afraid of people being cold to her, be more it than anything else. Yeah, that's it. I like the dream. I like the punchiness. I like short dreams. I like really long. I like any dream. I suppose I'm a sucker for dreams, but I like really punchy dreams that make their message and then just like, okay, now I'm going to exit the stage. Here's what it is. But then I also like really long dreams because they tell us a lot more about the dreamer, what's really going on for them, why they have the reluctance. So I'm going to do one last one from Angie, and I really like this one again. It's called Dolly's Camper. So what on earth? This is Dolly Parton. What on earth could this be about? She says, I saw a vehicle pulled over on the highway. I guess it was given as a gift to Dolly Parton. It's a camper vehicle, but it was small and therefore much more convenient and easier to drive. I was looking at it to see if it was a rental or what, but it was given to her. Okay. She wanted to see if it was a rental or what, but it was given to her. Okay, so it's already hers. Doesn't matter if it's a rental. She doesn't have to give it back. I didn't know why it was pulled over and stopped. It's like all the cars were stopped. I thought about how great it would be to have, you can sleep anywhere and travel anywhere. And it was the size of a regular SUV, so not cumbersome or daunting. I also remember that my teenage daughter had been putting song chords on Chordify. She wasn't practicing the songs as much as she had just been putting song chords online for others to use. Okay, so Dolly Parton, very straightforward, just like Alec Baldwin in the dream, is about channeling. Music is connected with the spirit world. If you read about near-death experiences, people talk about hearing this harmonious music as they travel through the heavens. So music is connected with that and represents channeling because of the association. She says, pulled over, the vehicle was pulled over on a highway. So this is negative. This is about my channeling is stopped. Why is my channeling stopped? Well, we got to figure that out. But it's on a highway. Highways are about the heart. Main roads are about the heart. So it's about emotional expression or feminine aspects, let's say. It's a camper vehicle, but it was small and therefore much more convenient and easier to drive. So I like that aspect. I like that, hey, I can go anywhere I want with this. And she says that's exactly what she says. You could travel anywhere because it's the size of a regular SUV. And yet it's everything you need. So she has this ability to go anywhere she wants with her channeling. But what is she doing? It's parked. And that's like the writing in the first dream, and it's like the channeling in the second dream. Now, dreams exaggerate. It's not quite parked, but it's almost parked. Ask Angie, what are you doing with your writing? What have you written? What have you published? What have you, even if nothing is published, what have you fully written that will be ready to publish or share with other people? And same too with the channeling. Obviously, the two are going to be connected because all these dreams are in the same night. So you're going to channel what you're going to put into your writing. And the two go together. So how are you doing with channeling? I know you do channel. How much do you go deep into it, and do you share with other people, or do you have fears around the channeling because of the black clothes in the other dream? It's not as bad as the writing. The writing was like an absolute no, but the channeling is, I feel uncomfortable, is more the way to put it. And so here, this is a kind of an antidote to the previous dream, where you are saying, I can go anywhere I want with this, and it's not cumbersome, and it's not daunting. I really like that. It's not daunting because driving a car in a dream is about achieving your goals. So this is going to be about achieving your channeling goals and not feeling daunted while doing it. Now, the last part, you say your teenage daughter had been putting song chords on Chordify. What age is she in the dream? That's an age that you need to look at yourself. I'd say to look at something positive, because she's just putting it out there. She's not holding herself back. So you at that age must have been more like that, just putting it out there. I'm not going to hold myself back. And you need to incorporate that back into your life by looking at what went on at that age, what caused you to stop, what caused you to hold back. Now, we know from your very first dream and another dream you gave that I'm not doing for time reasons, abusive relationships is one of the things that cause you to stop. And people using anything they can find out about you against you. And so it's like, okay, well, if I bare my soul, then I'm exposed and it will be used against me. Now you're not a child anymore, so that last part isn't going to be true. It can only be used against you if you stay in the orbit of those people, but you're not meant to stay in the orbit of those people. All right. Thank you very much, Angie, for sending in your dreams. Really, really loved them. Now, this dream is from Lilly, and I said it was about her needing to get in touch with her feminine side in order for things to take off. And when I read the dream, you will see why I said that without me analyzing anything. That part should make sense. Dreamed I was traveling. I became friendly with a young woman from New York City. The young woman is her feminine aspect. That's what it is in the dream. I became friendly with her along the way. We had to change planes and ended up with a long layover in New York. She told me some complex info about what we'd have to do to get on the next leg of the journey that really stressed me out, as she was much younger than me and used a lot of slang I wasn't familiar with. There was also a cultural difference. I felt concerned. Could I complete the journey well? There was a major flight delay, and she invited me to spend time at her house to wait out the delay. She must have lived way out in the suburbs or even New Jersey, as she lived with her parents and the home was more suburban than I expected. I was also going to need to catch a bus and do other complex ground transportation things back at the airport. I wasn't comfortable with, as she made it sound so fast moving and complex. And again, our communication wasn't great. Okay, so there's some words missing in what's typed there. That's why I've struggled in pieces. But let's go back to the start. There's a lot more of this dream, which I will cover. So she says, I'm traveling. So this is me on my journey. I became friendly with a young woman from New York. So that's my feminine aspect, feminine side. So that's heart, emotions, inner world, your philosophy of life, how you feel, your ability to care, nurture, and so on, and many other things. So we had to change planes. So this is like you're finished with one phase of your journey, one, as you call it, one leg of your journey, and you've got something else coming. But this something else requires you to understand your feminine aspect. We know that because in the dream you're saying, I can't figure her out. She stresses me out. She's much younger. She uses terminology I don't understand. There's also a cultural difference. So again, this is where there's a massive difference for you in using feminine aspects to move forward or understand how you're meant to move forward in life. You say, I felt concerned. Could I complete the journey well? Okay, so that's okay. That's just stated as it is. There was a major flight delay and she invited me to spend time at her house because that's what you need to do. She's young. What age was she? Is she a teenager? You're saying a young woman, so assuming she's not. What were you like at that age? What changed for you at that age? Were you more gung-ho? Were you like, okay, if this is what I have to do, I'm going to do it at that age? Because this is asking you to bring that back in. And whatever changed to make you change, fix it. Work on healing that. So the flight delay, because you need to spend time at her. She invited me to spend time at her house. So that's one of the things. When we see that you're invited in a dream, it means you weren't invited in life or didn't feel invited. So it's like mom didn't really want me. And that's how I felt. So this is my block. My block with my feminine side is not feeling welcome, not feeling. And how do we see this? We see this is unfortunately is one of the ones you're going to see throughout your life. Like you're going to be at a party and you're going to feel like you don't fit in, or even with your friends, you're feeling like they're putting up with you and you're being really careful so you're not judged and so on and so on. It's an uncomfortable feeling that persists and stays with you. So you have to heal the issues around your mom. I say it all the time, do something like cutting the ties that bind. Why? Because it works. And it works on a subconscious level. You don't need to understand why you're doing what you're doing with cutting the ties that bind, especially when it's done in combination with dream work, which is what we do all the time. It just works. It takes you there. It's a process. Keep working the process and it'll take you to where your heart's open and you'll understand what you closed off and you'll understand why and how different and wonderful life is once you fix the problem. Anyway, that's true for everybody. I forget to say it all the time. In every single dream, we're not just getting the dream to get a slap. We're getting the dream to say, this is your problem, this is what you need to overcome, and this is why it's part of your purpose. But we're really meant to do the healing. Whatever that healing is, do the healing to get to the next step. So anyway, she invited me to spend time at her house to wait out the delay. She must have lived way out in the suburbs or even New Jersey. And I don't know New York and New Jersey. I've been there, but I don't know enough about it to comment on it. She says, as she lived with her parents and the home was more suburban than I expected. I was going to need to catch a bus and do other complex ground transportation things back at the airport. And I wasn't comfortable with, as she made it sound so fast moving and complex. And again, our communication wasn't great. So it's about emotional communication from the heart, how you are, how you feel, how good are you at expressing yourself in a way that's non-judgmental. You know, you're not going to be good at it. I already know the answer. Don't think about, oh, well, I have one or two friends and I have my partner and I'm really good there. That's not what I'm talking about. In a situation where you find yourself in a room with people, even when they're all there for the same event, like something you purchase a ticket for, and there's going to be talking at this event. How are you at that event? Do you hold yourself back? I guarantee you do. And so that's what you need to fix. That's what you need to overcome. Anyway, here we go. The dream continues on. She invited me to spend a few hours at her workplace due to the long flight delay. And I said yes. Well, it's really good that she said yes. Again, another invitation to the home and then to the workplace. I had something to eat and made sure to wash my own dishes, as I hate those dirty workplace kitchens with no dishwashers. So we know that there's issues with the digestive system for you, but we're not going to really go into it. There was a tiny dishwasher, but it didn't look functional. So I hand washed my dishes. I needed to use the bathroom and had trouble finding it while she was in a meeting. Finally found it through an unmarked door, and there was a single silver stainless toilet with no lid, no seat and no stall. Kind of like a squatty potty used when camping, but it was plumbed. But it was private and in a little alcove for privacy. So I used it and breathed a sigh of relief. It flushed fine. Got dressed and was surprised to walk further into the bathroom and to discover it wasn't a bathroom at all. It was a conference room with several people sitting at a table having a meeting. I think that's where I had quietly washed my dishes. Okay, so the place is kind of transformed. Using the bathroom here is about eliminating the things that cause you to want privacy and not want complexity and not want etc., etc., etc. Like all the issues that you have with her. I don't quite understand what's going on. There's a cultural difference, etc., etc. So it's about healing all of that. And so using the bathroom is good. It's good that you did. You say it's a silver stainless toilet. with no lid. So that's good. Silver is about intuition. It's a feminine energy trait. So the dream wants you to get in touch with your feminine side. That's going to help you eliminate the issues that cause you to hold yourself back. And it's a small toilet. It's a squatty potty. So we know this goes back to, I said earlier, not feeling welcome, not feeling invited. This is what you're trying to heal. And the small toilet is going to be you as a child. You're trying to eliminate something that impacted you when you were tiny, when you used a smaller toilet. I'm going a little bit faster because I'm looking at the clock. And the conference room then is about, this is part of what your purpose is. Now, you like the privacy, so we don't want that. We don't want you to be private anymore. We want you to be able to share yourself and be open, publicly open about how you feel. You say in the next scene, we're back at her house. She had friends over and I spoke with her mom a bit, who gave me some insights into her daughter's behavior. So again, it's about your mom. That's what it's going to be in your dream, in your life. I realized I needed to dig deeper into understanding the next leg of the travels and got out paperwork from the airport and read through about the bus connections. Felt like I hadn't been taking enough responsibility, so read more and made a list of specific questions. So this is probably the way you hold yourself back. You get into your head, you want to fully understand all these things before they ever happen. I don't want to take a step unless I know what step I'm meant to take and when I'm meant to turn and when I'm meant to do all these various different things. That's not how you're being asked to do it. You're being asked to get in touch with your feminine aspect and let your intuition guide you. That's going to feel like a totally different alien world for you. And that's why it feels uncomfortable in the dream. But you need to dig and get into that. So again, looking at the time, very little time left. What can I say? The conversation felt like I had to take more responsibility. This conversation went much better. I wanted to just ask her if I could travel with her as she knew the way. So again, feminine aspect knows the way. Getting in touch with your heart. That's how you're going to get there. But not sure if that conversation happened or not. She had invited me into her bedroom along with her other friends who were visiting. You said she was only in her late teens. Okay, there we go. That's the age that you need to look at. It was a surprisingly lovely, spacious room. Felt like a master suite. The bed was in the corner under two large windows. Windows are also like the silver toilet. They're also about intuition. Had beautiful purple sheets and bedding, so we know you're a spiritual leader that also works through feminine energy. I then realized the house must have two master suites. Her mother or parents must have had one upstairs. So again, influence of parents, mom, is what gets you, because mom is the one that shows up in the dream. It's all about feminine energy. There's more to this dream, but I have run out of time. We've got enough out of it. We know what you need to work on. Issues around mom. That's it for this week. I will see you next week. Remember to send your dreams to the show. Email them to radioshow@dream-analysis.com for the time being, until I get the submission form on my website fixed. Take care.